Joining me now is former Republican Arkansas governor and former presidential candidate, the great Mike Huckabee. Governor, thanks for joining me. So I got to bring you back to this report from Edward. So Democrats create a crisis with regard to oil prices by shutting down American supply. So prices go up. And so instead of producing more oil, their big plan is to redistribute wealth, tax oil companies so they can give it away to people that they see fit. Is that unbelievably stupid, or am I just wrong?
It may be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, and you wonder, did any of them even take a third-grade course in economics in the basic fundamentals of supply and demand? If you reduce the supply but the demand is high, the price goes up. And if you make it more expensive to produce and to sell, as it would be to tax the oil companies more, what's going to happen? Two things. The price goes up and the production disappears. Nobody's going to produce oil if they're going to pay more taxes. And if anybody pays more, it's going to be the consumer. It doesn't matter whether it's a loaf of bread or a gallon of gas. If you put extra cost on the cost of doing the business of getting it to the consumer pays more money. These people are absolutely rock solid dumb if they think that gas prices go down because you tax the oil companies. I'm just stunned that anybody actually would buy into that nonsense.
Rock solid, dumb governor. So, but here's, it was interesting because Jen Psaki, I think, got it, right? She wants to increase supply. So from the podium, she says, we're going to engage global suppliers to mitigate the price of oil and gas. Well, so she gets supply matters. Why in the hell won't they actually go, we're going to sit down with American CEOs of oil and gas companies and go, what do we have to do to help you produce more? What do we have to do to bring more American oil into the market so we can reduce the cost at the pump for the American people? Why won't they do that? That's an easy solution, isn't it?
Much easier. The fact is, Americans walk on top of the largest oil and gas supply in the world every day when they walk on American soil. We've got more than Russia. We've got more than Saudi Arabia. We've got about 400 years worth of gas and oil that would take care of this country's needs, and we'd be able to export. But you can't do it if you declare war on the oil and gas industry, which the Biden administration has done from day one. So it's not just saying produce more now. It's saying you can continue to produce more because there are long-term investment costs the oil and gas companies have to pay for in order to extract it. If they only get a 30-day window in which to extract so Joe Biden gets off the hook for a few days, that's not a solution. He has to end this stupid, ill-planned war on the oil and gas that we have in America. I don't mind us working on electric cars and having wind and solar. Heck, we had wind and solar at my house when I was a kid. That's how we dried our clothes. It was called a clothesline. But it's not the best way to go about it necessarily, or the most efficient. I'm just saying that when we get to the place where it is efficient to use green energy, we'll do it. But in the meantime, it isn't. So let's make it so that that single mom and that hard-working guy out there and the elderly couple who can barely afford medicine isn't having to cut pills in half because Joe Biden's people are too dumb to understand the basic fundamentals of supply and demand.
And Governor, what's interesting is the American people get it. So when Joe Biden tries to blame inflation and fuel prices on Putin, most Americans are like, we know who's doing this. Yeah. This is you, Joe Biden. I don't have a video of it or a picture of it right now, but you see, Joe Biden's face right next to gas pumps all across America right now saying, I did that. That's the cost of the price of the pump from Joe Biden. But I want to get your take on this because Vice President Harris was talking to Democrats and wanted to remind them of a certain something. I'm going to play this for you and I want you to react.
Our task is to show people that in many ways they got what they ordered, right? They said this is what they wanted. They stood in line. They took time from work. It was difficult. And a lot of what they demanded, they got. And so let's get out there as we do and remind them of that.
Governor, did the American voter want more crime? Did they want open borders? Did they want sky-high inflation? Did they want $4.33 fuel at the pump? Did they actually get what they bargained for with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris?
Here's what happened. They got what they wanted. They didn't want what they got.
Right.
And that's the problem, is they didn't realize that this is what they were getting. They thought they were going to getting a president that wouldn't send out some mean tweets that hurt their delicate feelings. What they ended up with is a far leftist radical agenda that's killing him, and it's why 70% of the people of America disapprove of the way he's handling inflation and gas. I wonder, who the heck are the 29% that thinks it's going okay? You got to wonder. But Kamala Harris, showing her propensity towards saying something that is utterly ridiculous, basically says, you know, we're in the tank. People hate what we're doing. Let's full throttle ahead, because they really must want this. They stood in line to vote for us, but poor Kamala doesn't understand. They never imagined that the consequences of voting for Joe Biden would lead to this level of utter disaster. I'll put it this way. He's about as popular right now on handling issues as a mosquito bite and a hemorrhoid. And what he has in common with the hemorrhoid right now is both represent a pain in the backside.
I'm not going to touch that hemorrhoid, Governor, but you know what? You make up a good point. When you were governor, when I was in Congress, I fought to help middle-income Americans, middle-income folks in my district, or you did in your state, or low-income folks. And the policies from Democrats are hurting the very people they say they want to help. And if you got a private jet, you don't care that jet fuel's gone up. You got so much money, it doesn't affect you. But the people that are just trying to make it every day in their lives and put food on the table and put gas in their car, they're the ones that are getting crushed by these horrible policies. And they all get it. And that's why I think Democrats are going to have a rude awakening this November. But Governor Huckabee, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean.
All right.